Stripes suit.
Thank you.
I think we're promoting some cops tonight, Howard.
Yeah. Call to order the February 6th meeting of the Bridgewater Town Council. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of New Jersey, the adequate notice of this meeting was provided on December 10th, 2024, by sending written notice and electronic notice to the Courier News and the Breeze, posting on the website and the bulletin board in the municipal building, and filing with the township clerk. May we have the roll call, please?
Councilman Kirsch?
Here.
Councilman Cordilla? Here. Councilman Perdoso? Councilman Ring?
Here.
Council President Norgalis?
Here. Would you stand, if able, for our Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We're going to defer item 4, the minutes, for the next meeting. There's some additional fine-tuning. Council reports. Could we start with Councilman Kirsch, please?
Yes, thank you very much. A few items. During a recent meeting, there was a commentary made about the role of litigation, and the open question was asked, why is Bridgewater involved in so much litigation? And I think it's just worth saying that we have excellent legal counsel. We have for many, many years. We continue to have excellent legal counsel, that we typically get involved in litigation only as a last resort, and that it is an important tool in our toolkit, because candidly, if we had a reputation of never, giving in on every suit and, never defending our rights, it would be open season on Bridgewater, and certainly we would never allow that to occur. Second quick item on affordable housing. I was not at the meeting last week because I had unavoidable business travel. I don't want to rehash the entire debate and conversation, but a few quick thoughts. Number one is that we often talk about Bridgewater being a wonderfully diverse community in terms of its rich tapestry of heritages, cultures, and religions. But there's another important way that Bridgewater is exceptionally diverse, and that's in our housing stock. We have basically something to suit people all up and down the economic spectrum, as it is, independent of any regulations that are placed upon us. What is being asked of us and every other municipality in New Jersey with the affordable housing requirements is really the ultimate mandate. It destroys home rule, destroys self-determination, and creates multiple financial burdens. Those may have been discussed last week, but they include and are not limited to additional services that may be required, exceptionally expensive services that may be required, such as extending our sewage capacity, our fire protection, potentially that even being the item that requires us to consider paid fire protection. There are also substantial errors in the formula, as has been discussed. The state's original number envisioned us building on the Route 22 median, which clearly is not viable, Camp Cromwell, which is protected from development because we own it, and several churches. Ultimately, I would have voted for the resolution last week because we have no choice. It's an ultimate mandate to us, but you have my word that I will join with my colleagues to do the best that we can to make the situation as palatable as possible for Bridgewater. The planning board met on January 21st, heard a case, the old Baker and Taylor facility, 1120 Route 22. The front office building is being torn down. The rear warehouse building is remaining as it is with its current function. The zoning board met on January 28th, heard a case for a new auto dealership on the property that used to be the Courier News. Half of that was built as the Honda dealership. The other half is now proposed to be a Range Rover Defender Discovery dealership, and that will be heard, the second part of that will be heard on, I believe it's April 8th. I had the pleasure of attending the Bridgewater Chinese American Association Chinese Lunar New Year celebration this past Saturday. I want to give particular accolades to Henry Wang, the chairman of that association, as well as Lucy Lee, who played a key part in thank everybody who was part of that program for sharing the beautiful Chinese culture with the Bridgewater community and beyond. And then the following day, on Sunday, I was over at the Bridgewater Commons Mall for their Lunar New Year celebration, and that is my report.
Thank you. Councilman Ring?
Thank you, Council President. Just want to extend a warm welcome to many of the family and friends that are here for the police promotion in a little bit. I feel very safe in this room right now with everyone here, so thank you. I also attended the Lunar New Year celebration at the Senior Center this past weekend, as well as attended the reorganization meeting of the Middlebrook Regional Health Commission that we are part of, and that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Cardilla?
Okay, for my report, I'd like to say that I also enjoyed attending the 2 Chinese Lunar New Year programs for the Year of the Snake, and I certainly offer best wishes to our Chinese community for a year of health and prosperity. Also, since our last meeting, I had received an email from a resident regarding my comments related to affordable housing. What I can say is that my responsibility as a councilman, and we all share this responsibility, is to formulate our opinions based on what we know and what we believe. Also, to respectfully entertain the opinions of those who may not agree with us. That's when respecting both sides of the argument gives us room for conversation, thought, and the ability to come up with a solution that will hopefully benefit everybody in Bridgewater Township. The one thing I do know is many times when we do get correspondence from people and we do hear public portions and so forth, the comments are made and things are written where you really don't know the people that you're talking, who you're dealing with, what their issues are, and so on and so forth. In the email that I received, and I respect the opinion that my opinion is wrong, that's no big deal. But the one thing I'd like to point out is the person who wrote the email will not realize how close we are aligned with the issues of our concern. The 2 points that I thought were relevant and what I wanted to bring to the public this evening is that when you talk about affordable housing, it's usually based on a circumstance with you and your family. It could be based on a loss of income. It could be based on the need for housing a special needs child and things like that. I will say I'd just like to let y'all know, loss of income, of course, I'm retired. My income is down. But more importantly, I do share the need for affordable housing because I also have a special needs child that my wife and I have. Amanda is 45 years old, 46 years old in July. She lives with us, and our concerns are what's her future going to be. We're on a waiting list for probably the past 20 years, where her numbers are still a couple hundred away from being at the top of the list. But I assure you that in reading the email that I received, I respect it. I understand the concerns because, believe it or not, my concerns are exactly the same. So in moving forward, I want to see our council, as we work on the affordable housing round 4, this administration, past administrations, for almost the past 15, 20 years, this governing body, your councils, your mayors, everybody have worked extremely hard to fulfill our obligation to the affordable housing mandates, and we have done so. We will work on round 4. And although I said my goal is 0, I know it's not going to be 0. It's going to be some decision somewhere in between. But it will be, in my opinion, I hope it's a reasonable decision based on the availability of land. And if we can match up need with the land that we have, you know, that's where I hope we can all be. So please, if you disagree with my opinion, that's okay. I have no problem with that. Sometimes discussion, you know, puts things in a different light that benefits everybody. And this evening, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. My report, Chief Mitzak, could we have a promotion ceremony every week? Because this, normally we have a handful of people, but this is a wonderful occasion. I attended the Bridgewater Chinese American Association 2025 celebration held at our Senior Citizen Center. 2025 is the year of the snake. Chinese New Year, often referred to as the Lunar New Year, is a celebration steeped in rich traditions and vibrant customs. Among the most iconic elements are the Chinese New Year animals representing the 12-year zodiac cycle. Each animal embodies distinct traits, myths, and cultural significance. In case you wondered about the other recurring characters besides the snake, here they are: the horse, goat, monkey, rooster, dog, pig, rat, ox, tiger, rabbit, and dragon. Thank you, Henry Wang, for organizing the celebration, and especially for the very warm welcome we received as elected officials. JCP&L sent out a memo asking that Mylar metallic balloons not be used or released under power lines, especially around Valentine's Day. Last year, JCP&L had 22 outages directly caused by metallic balloons touching power lines. Tim Ring and I attended the Middlebrook Regional Health Commission meeting earlier in the week in Greenbrook. Bridgewater is a part of the commission, and our health activities, including inspections, are directed by Commission Health Officer Kevin Sumner under the continuation of an agreement to be reauthorized tonight for 2025. Kevin reports to Bridgewater Health and Human Services Director Christine Madrid. The Health Department has arranged for a limited number of radon test kits to be available for free distribution to Bridgewater residents. They are available on a first-come, first-served basis. I suggest you call the Township Health number before coming in to make sure they are available. Radon is an odorless gas that is a known carcinogen. Yesterday, I attended the monthly meeting of the Municipal Alliance, chaired by Lynn Hurley. Lots of programs being worked in support of students in the Bridgewater area and school system. Much more to follow on that in the future. I have also attended several meetings with the administration and our affordable housing planner, Darlene Green, and feel compelled to tell our residents that we all continue to be fully engaged in meeting the state deadline for affordable housing. By this time, you already know my thought that the state directive of 474 additional affordable homes was poorly crafted. At this point, we are working towards an objective of 417 units over the next 10 years. The public will be kept apprised of our progress as we move forward towards the state benchmark, which is in June. Rest assured, we will not be building affordable homes in the median of Route 22, as suggested by the state plan. Mr. Pappas, any report from the mayor, please?
Just a few things. Mr. Nogales, the resolution that the council approved last Thursday and the accompanying report from Topology was in fact filed appropriately by Mr. Corsini's associate, Alex Fisher, and so we've complied with that deadline. The other thing I'd like to say on behalf of the mayor to Lieutenant Edwards, Lieutenant Zeichner, Sergeant Kennedy, and Sergeant Setsko, he appreciates all that you do in the police department. As he would say if he were here, he has a wife and 3 young children, and each of you help protect them, and he's grateful for that, which you do for his family and all families in Bridgewater. And congratulations to you, gentlemen. Thank you.
Okay. As the administrator has already stated, the mayor regrets he cannot be here, but he is out of town. Actually, the heavy lifting for the swearing will be done in just a couple of minutes by the chief. But I'd like to recognize not only the 4 officers who will be promoted, but also who's going to participate with them. Now, Lieutenant Jamie Edwards will have girlfriend Ruth Ann and daughter Jordan. If I get this incorrect, please tell me about it, but after the meeting. Lieutenant Zeischer has wife Melissa, children Tyler, Alexa, and Ryan. Sergeant Kennedy, wife Marissa, and Jackson and Lexi. And Sergeant Stetsko, wife Sarah, Theodore, and Amelia. Now, my job is very simple, just to say a few words about what we're doing today. Now, it was stated in the package that you see that it's swearing. It's really not a swearing in, because these gentlemen have all been sworn at and sworn in many times over the years. They have taken an oath, and they have served very, very well this township over many, many years. The process of selecting a promotional candidate is not done in a smoke-filled back room someplace. It represents a rigorous process whereby the applicants have to submit written testimony, they have to take tests, they have to be interviewed, they have to have recommendations. So the work that is going on in our police department is probably the envy of many communities in New Jersey. We're proud of our police as council. We support our police. We believe we need to provide the tools that you folks need to protect yourselves and your family. I also want to thank the families who provide the opportunity for these men to take part in our protection. And I want to say, God bless you all. Chief Mitzak, over to you, sir.
All right, before we start the promotion ceremony, I would like to acknowledge 2 lieutenants who recently retired on February 1st, which make these promotions possible tonight. Lieutenant Fred Bertain served the Bridgewater community for 22 years, and Lieutenant Todd Mealy served the Bridgewater community for 26 years. Their leadership and friendship will be truly missed, and I thank them both for their contributions to our police department and for always putting the Bridgewater community first. Job well done by both lieutenants. Now, tonight we come together to celebrate the exceptional achievements and well-deserved promotions of 4 remarkable individuals within our police department. It's both an honor and a privilege to recognize Officers Kennedy, Officer Stetsko, who are being promoted to sergeant, as well as Sergeant Jamie Edwards and Sergeant Steve Zeichner, who are advancing to the rank of lieutenant. This occasion marks a pivotal moment in their careers, a testament to their dedication, commitment, and outstanding service to our community. Sergeant Edwards and Sergeant Zeichner, your promotion to lieutenant reflects your exceptional attitudes, work ethics, and experience. As lieutenants, your responsibilities will expand significantly. Here are some key aspects of your new role. Command and supervision, overseeing parts of the operations division and managing a patrol squad. Leadership and guidance, setting clear expectations, providing mentorship, and fostering positive work environment. Policy development and implementation, contributing to the creation and enforcement of departmental policies. Strategic planning, playing a role in the department's long-term planning. And finally, community relations, serving as a liaison between the department and the community. I have full confidence that you will continue to lead with an integrity and inspire those around you in your new roles. Now we're going to, I'll read a bio for Sergeant Jamie Edwards, and then we'll call him up to be sworn in as a lieutenant. Sergeant Jamie Edwards is a lifelong resident of Bridgewater, and he earned his bachelor's degree from Villanova University. He graduated from the Somerset County Police Academy in 2001 and has been with the Bridgewater Police Department for 25 years. Jamie served in the patrol division. He then became a school resource officer and as a detective before being promoted to sergeant in 2017. He has also served as the emergency management coordinator since 2020 as an instructor in incident command, first aid, CPR, and defibrillator. He's also a life member of Martinsville Rescue Squad. He holds certifications as an EMT and has earned numerous awards, including the Somerset County Police Academy Instructor Achievement Award, multiple letters of commendation, and the Exceptional Service Medal. As our most senior sergeant, Jamie's promotion to lieutenant is a well-deserved honor. I also must mention that Jamie is a lifelong Philadelphia Eagles fan, which I won't hold against him tonight. I now invite Jamie and his girlfriend Ruth Ann and daughter Jordan to come up to be sworn in as a lieutenant.
Ready? Ready. I state your name.
I, James Edwards, Jr.,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and I will bear truth and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
that I will faithfully,
faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform
impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of the Bridgewater Township
all the duties of the Bridgewater Township
Lieutenant according to the best of my abilities,
Lieutenant according to the best of my abilities,
so help me God.
so help me God.
All right, Sergeant Stephen Zeichner, a 20-year veteran of the department, earned his bachelor's degree from Monmouth University and graduated from the Union County Police Academy in 2004. He joined the Bridgewater Police Department in 2005, serving in patrol and detective roles, as well as mentoring new officers as a field training officer. Stephen is a certified drug recognition expert and was promoted to sergeant in April of 2022. Since November 2022, he has served as the detective sergeant in charge of detectives, the ID officer, and youth services. Throughout his career, Stephen has earned multiple awards, including the Exceptional Service Award, several letters of commendation, and the Spirit of Courage Award from the Burn Prevention Network. I now invite Stephen and his wife Melissa and children Tyler, Alexa, and Ryan to join him for his swearing in as lieutenant.
Hold it.
I state your name.
I, Stephen Zeichner,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
and I will bear true faith and allegiance
to the same and to the governments established in the United States
to the same and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly
impartially, and justly
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the Bridgewater Police Department
of the Bridgewater Police Department Lieutenant
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Okay, Officers Kennedy and Stetsko, as you step into your new roles as sergeants, you will take on increased responsibilities providing leadership and mentorship to your squads. Your new duties will include leadership, guiding and managing your team of officers, supervision, overseeing the daily operation of your squad, ensuring that tasks are completed efficiently and effectively, training and development. Play a key role in the growth and development of your officers, community engagement, building positive relationships with the community and fostering trust. Decision-making, making crucial decisions that affect both the safety of your squad and the community you serve. As sergeants, your influence and authority will be significant. Leading by example, maintaining integrity, and prioritizing the well-being of both your squad and the community will be essential to your success. Officer Kennedy, better known as Tac Pack Jack. I had to get that in there. Officer Kennedy earned his associate's degree from Raritan Valley Community College. He graduated from the Somerset County Police Academy in December of 2007 and began his career with us in January 2008. Over the years, he has served in various patrol squads before transitioning to a traffic officer role in 2013. Jack has supervised a crossing guard, served as a radar instructor, and investigated numerous fatal crashes. He's also a member of the Somerset County Accident Reconstruction Team and an in-service training coordinator, specializing in ground fighting and combatives, OC aerosol projectiles, and firearms. Jack is an assistant team leader on the county SWAT team, a member of our Honor Guard, and an instructor with the Citizen Police Academy. Jack's accomplishments include the Bridgewater PD Medal of Merit, Exceptional Service, the CPR DFib Save Awards, and a 3-time recipient of the Mothers Against Drunk Driving Distinguished Service Award. He was reassigned to patrol in 2023 to prepare for this promotion. And I now invite Jack with his wife Marissa and children Jackson and Lexi to come up and be sworn in as sergeant.
I state your name.
I, John Kennedy,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of the Bridgewater Township Police Sergeant according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right, since I'm promoting everybody tonight, is we're going to be here a while. Right, sir?
You gotta save some for the next meeting.
All right, next meeting. Officer Stetsko graduated from the Ocean County Police Academy in 2011 and attended Monmouth and Rowan universities. He began his career with the Seaside Heights Police Department before making the very wise decision to come to Bridgewater PD in 2013. As a patrol officer, Vincent quickly demonstrated his skills, which accelerated him to become a detective. In his detective role, he investigated serious crimes, testified at Superior Court, and played a key role in background investigations for officer candidates. Vincent is also a firearms instructor and has received 2 CPR Save Awards, 2 unit citations, 1 letter of commendation. Now inviting Vincent and his wife, Sarah, and children Theodore and Amelia to come up to be sworn as a sergeant.
I, state your name,
I, Vincent Stetsko,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
and that I will faithfully,
impartially, and justly perform
impartially, and justly perform
all the duties of the Bridgewater Township Police Sergeant
all the duties of the Bridgewater Township Police Sergeant
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right, that concludes the promotion part of it. One last time, please join me in congratulating each one of these outstanding officers on their well-deserved promotions.
Chief, before you go, I think we want to do a photograph with you and the command staff and the 4 gentlemen in the council. Yep. Mhm.
I don't know. Where's Suzanne? No. No Suzanne, there's no directions.
I know. Suzanne's not here tonight. She's gonna have to.
We'll go in front.
Ty, you're in charge, I guess.
notes.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Thank you.
We'll take a brief break while those people who want to engage outside can do that.
We Mediterranean types don't have the height that you type. That was well done, Howard. You're good at that. You're gonna Wally Pitt Matt Mensch.
That's a fun part. Yeah, I said we'll take a brief break while give them an opportunity. I don't want to rush anybody.
I'm good. Hanging in there.
Now, you're not nervous tonight, right?
No, I'm okay. Yeah. And, well, I do have to say the introduction. Set the date for the final. 2 of them. Yeah, we have 2 of them. Are you? I told Grace if I don't do it once in a while,
Yeah,
especially with ordinances,
it's really good to keep your toes in the water.
Yeah.
Bob Albano's here.
Yes,
Looking good, Bob.
he is. Well, I remember when I first joined the council, he got his
Oh, for the ticker?
yeah, and his wife Pat loved him.
Quick, because it's like a little bit out of like his little. Well, there's a middle. At least 15 years ago. Bob's been off the council.
Yeah.
Since 2009, I think. That would have been like in the aughts. Advances in medicine. You think he's in Warren Township?
I don't know.
Bill Savo's 83. I think he's younger than Bill, so.
Bill and I are.
July.
I'm February. I got 2 weeks up.
Oh, so Bill's June. So Mazel tov. You both look good. Bill Savo
I was gonna say you look really good for
Bill
83.
Savo looks the same now as when I met him. He really
does.
does. And Kathy looks even younger.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I would never think Kathy was 80 something. She does
Yeah.
not look. His wife does not look like that. She looks good. She's got good genes.
That's awesome.
Okay, folks, we're about to restart. Thank you. Now, one of the requirements of those people who came for the ceremony, they have to come back next week. No ifs, ands, or buts. Okay, proceeding to item 8 on the agenda, proclamations, we have none. Item 9, presentations, we have none. So far, we're moving right along. Up to 10, meeting open to the public. Members of the public wishing to address the council on any matter will be allowed 3 minutes to speak unless there are unusual circumstances. May I have a motion to open to the public, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Signify-
Aye.
Aye. All right, we are open to the public. Folks, come on up. I have a little sign there, too. Would you please make sure you speak directly into the microphone and put your name and address on the sheet? State your name and address, please, also, for the record.
My name is Megan Dowden. I live at 807 Porter Way West. I came here tonight to just discuss 2 things. The first being Councilman Pergula talking about the affordable housing.
Excuse me a minute. We need to get the door back open. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Great, continue.
I know you shared your opinion last week of zero housing and your reasons behind it and comparing things with Patterson. I do truly appreciate your comments at the beginning of this meeting because I believe you were addressing my email. So I do thank you and appreciate, because sometimes it is hard to not see from another standpoint and being in someone else's shoes. So I want to thank you for that, and I want to thank the rest of the council.
I do understand.
Thank you. So I understand where you guys are coming from. A lot of this land is not doable for housing whatsoever. But I wanted to share, even though you guys already know, for the rest of the public or anyone online, the opinion of someone who lives in affordable housing, which is me. I grew up, born and raised in Bridgewater, and I am a single mom with 2 jobs and a special needs. And because of affordable housing, I was able to stay in the town that I love and give my kids the Bridgewater School District's Blue Ribbon education. In fact, even their special education really helped my son. So I wanted to point out how it does help people, regardless of where they live, if they were in Bridgewater or out, for single, widowed, kids just graduating that are going out. There's even people that have had illnesses in their family that have made it hard and would like to stay within Bridgewater. There are numbers that I ran, which is pretty obvious to everyone as far as the economy and stuff, but based on what I came up with, Councilman Kurtula, I don't know, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I did a little research. So based on your family and my family, we both came to Bridgewater around roughly 1967, 1970. I could be wrong with your family, but I know mine was. And the median house price in New Jersey was $23,400, which was 3.3 times a $7,000 a year salary. I'm not exactly sure what Bridgewater was. In 2023, the median house price in Bridgewater was $581,600, which is a similar income to the price ratio, which would mean that a family with an income of $176,000, which is slightly more than the current median household income of Bridgewater of $170,000, and nearly the double median household income of New Jersey for $99,781. So because of that, I feel like it's very difficult to keep up in this world to live. So affordable housing does actually help people. I know at one point that the process for affordable housing with Bridgewater was in-house and run by an employee, and now it is outsourced to an attorney. That being said, the process still remains the same, and I don't know if the public is aware of the process of how to apply for it. It's not an easy process. It's a long and arduous process of paperwork, of financials, of things you have to supply. And even after you do that, there is a very, very long waiting list for housing, which proves the point that it is needed. Unless you are going to be vigilant and continue to follow up with the township on where you are on that housing, it's very hard to get into housing. So it just kind of proves the point that it is necessary and needed for everyone. So I just wanted to put it out there and just kind of put it as a reminder for the next phases. I get the number is ridiculous. I'm just hoping that you guys can remember that from the standpoint of someone from affordable housing, of how important it is to have it in every township. So that's my only thing, but I thank you. My second thing is Sunrise Assisted Living. I don't know if anyone has ever approached you guys. I work part-time there also. There is continual complaints about parking there. The parking lot is very tiny. So not only for employees, but residents that live there, and then families that come and visit. It is a complete nightmare. I don't know a lot about it. When we are asked by management, management refers us to come to Bridgewater Township to address it. So I don't know if you guys have information or can guide me on where or who to speak to find out more information about whether we can expand or can't, and where to go.
Which is about
Sunrise on 22.
the
Sunrise Assisted
new
Living in
one?
Bridgewater. It's about 5 years old. It's on the other side of MetLife.
Yeah, no, I know the one you mean. Yeah, I know
Very
that
tiny parking.
I had been there.
Across from MetLife.
Yes.
Yeah, I was there, stopped in there in December, and I was told that there was a new administrator coming on board early this year. I don't know if that's occurred yet. I wanted to introduce myself and...
Over at Sunrise?
Yeah, and I'm not connected with that person. They were going to have them
Well,
contact me.
last I was told was that corporate was going to call over, but I can talk
Yeah.
to you and whatever you
Sure. I think probably for someone, if you'd like, you certainly contact me, but the Township Planner, Catherine Sarmed, would probably be the most appropriate person to, to contact to look at what options may exist from size of the site and so forth. So here's my card and my email address.
Councilman Kurgela, one more thing. I work very closely with the State Ombudsman, Paul Aronsman. I don't know if you know him. He has helped me tremendously with my special needs child, and my special needs child is going to be turning 21, and thankfully, I just found out this week, has got into adult housing. So if you want to talk afterwards, I'd be more than happy to help you and set you up with him, because he has gotten very involved with talking to places and advocating for my son, so I'd like to help you if you want to.
Megan, thank you.
Thank you.
One more time and you become a frequent flyer, because that's...
Yes, I'm going to be a
Okay.
frequent flyer. Thank you.
Is there
Yeah, are
anyone
there-
else who wishes to address the council?
Are there
Come
rows
on
with
up,
extra,
Bob.
are there
You're
rows with
sitting
extra
by the
leg
front.
room there that we don't know about?
Sorry?
There are rows with extra leg room? That's what you get for being the frequent flyer?
This
This
is
count
for-
as part
this
of
is-
my time?
This is former long-term councilman Robert Albano. Served for, was it 21 or 24 years on the council? Very faithfully.
24. Good evening, gentlemen and lady. I know all of you personally, served with you on some things. And I'm here tonight to tell you that in addition to this wonderful ceremony that we have, is that many people are not aware of how valuable and important the police are in my ability and the ability of all the rescue squads to perform our function. The gentlemen and ladies of our police department do in fact protect and serve to the highest standard. And I can personally attest to that on many, many occasions. So my hat is off to them, and we are very grateful for the service that they provide. That's number one. Number two, please remember the rescue squad in your deliberations. We are a valuable asset to the community and a very cost-effective way of providing an essential service. And the third thing I'm going to say is, unlike many, many people here tonight, they do not know how hard it is to sit up there and how easy it is to stand here and complain. So to that I say, I compliment all of you, Juliana, Mike, Howard, Chris.
Did you forget my name?
No, just Tim, Alan, and my good friend Mike Pappas.
He's known you a long time.
Thank you all for your service. I appreciate it. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
17.
Bob, when Bob left the council, he charged me with being the person who kept track of compliments to the council. Now, over the 24 years that he served, he said he received 24 compliments. The council received 25. He asked me earlier tonight, and I said 17 so far in my 21 years. So we're not.
Some overlap.
We're working. Yeah, there was some overlap. Yes, sir. Name and address, please.
Manish Patel, 41 Schaefer Road. Good to see everyone again. So again, it's a hard act to follow the promotions of our officers. Thank you. Thanks to all of them for what they do and what their families do. And again, hard act to follow, but please know that the residents of Bridgewater appreciate everything you do. We've got your backs because we know you have ours. So moving into the topic that I started on something about business development, which I need to follow up with Administrator Pappas, but I've been distracted with a few other things. But I've also become interested in the affordable housing issue because my brain works as a problem solver. And I see we have a problem between 0 and 2,000. That's kind of how I look at it right now. So my questions...
We don't have a problem between 0. We have a commitment right now for 417, which we will
resolved between now and June, when we have to hand off a complex program to the state. So,
Okay. And again, I think someone said that, or Councilman Cardilla said that you're all eager to work on a solution, just not the one that's being forced on the township or many towns around us.
There seems to be a misconception here. I think the state has come up with a number and a process for us to address deficiencies. We are one of over 100 municipalities that has told the state their formula is incorrect, and gone through the proper process of telling them why we think their number is wrong and what we think our number is. I don't think anyone up here today, and I don't want to speak for anyone, but I am confident from our discussion, this council fully supports affordable housing. What we struggle with is the process in which the state is pushing it upon municipalities using inaccurate data, suggesting that we should build homes in the medians of Route 22 or build homes in the middle of a body of water, a reservoir. I mean, it's just ludicrous, the formulas they've used. We don't have a problem. We've committed to a number of 417. We passed a resolution on that at the last council meeting. We have until the end of June to determine how we're going to meet those numbers, and we are currently working on that. So, you know, I think it's important for the public to understand we've committed to a number. We have met our legal obligation. I will tell you that there was a report issued earlier this week. There's many towns that did not comply with their legal obligation and now open themselves up to lawsuits. We have protected ourselves from that, and we are moving forward.
Great, thank you. Thank you for the clarification. And I apologize if I come across as, well, we don't have a town square, but let's say the court in the mall, kind of the rube of the town on this subject. But two questions, I guess, and I'll stand arm in arm with you guys on that whole subject of them suggesting to build something on Route 22's medians that just is clearly, as you said, impractical and absurd. But what I did want to ask is, in advance of the report, which I guess is going to outline where things can be done, I assume that'll be in the report that's published?
The next step in the process is we have to develop a plan as to how we're going to meet those 417 units. That will be done by June.
Okay, and
it will provide specific locations and number of units in each location. It's not a pie in the sky. It's not a we intend to. It's these are the things where we expect either shovels in the ground. Now, don't forget, we have 10 years in which to meet the obligation, but we get set in stone for June, and we're gonna work for it. We are currently working for it and have been working for it for a number of months, and expect to meet it.
second question, naive question, is about the number. Whether it's 400, whether it's
417 is the number.
417.
It now might be lower.
Might be
depending on
lower,
what we
whatever
find.
that number is, because then there's a multiplier for the builders typically, right? To be
There
profitable.
might be a multiple.
Might be a multiplier that they
Well,
need to be profitable. Is there a possibility that we, I mean, with the builder or someone, the right system or structure could figure out a way where we don't have to build a multiplier of
That's what
units?
we're working towards.
Okay.
It's an option.
All right. So that was, like I said, that's a huge question in my head, and I thought, like, again, I think, you know, everyone here.
By multiplier, do you mean a builder will say, in order to get 200 affordable units, I need to build 1,000 homes?
Yes, yes. And is that even on the table to try to come up with an approach that
Last
avoids that
resort.
multiplier?
In every instance where builders have, and a lot of builders have approached to help us with our commitment, one of the things we would look for was the highest possible percent, and generally 20% is my benchmark. If someone isn't talking at least 20% set aside, I'm not really interested in talking to them.
Okay, so that's a 4-to-1, I guess, is what you're...
Yes.
Okay, great. I mean, again, I think from what I'm hearing the last couple of times I've been here now with the council, and what I'm hearing from some of the folks that have come up that are far more knowledgeable about this subject than me, it'd be awesome if the council and the community did at some point when this report comes out work even closer together than just this, back and forth thing.
Everything will be made known to the public. You may recall a number of weeks back before we had the number, I said, you'll come on that date and we will have a number, and we have. And we will work for it, and it will be a transparent process. You will, when you see it, you'll be proud of it. Okay?
Excellent, thank you. And just one last thing before I go. Last week I left you with a quote from Anne Frank. This week I have another one. Hope is important. We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. So we thank Dr. Martin Luther King for that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President?
Anyone else wishing to address the council?
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
If I may, just one thing that's also important to remember is the legislation that the township is working under or through allows the process that by the end of February, any interested party can challenge Bridgewater Township's figure. And so that is, while the township has committed to a number, there is a process that can be challenged, and then a resolution of that challenge would need to be finalized by the end of March. So we're hoping that the accompanying report that the council authorized that accompanies the resolution would be sufficient to prevent any challenge, but we don't know, as every other community doesn't know whether their number will be challenged.
Thank you. Here's a frequent flyer.
Hi, here's a frequent flyer. Happy New Year. Let me start with that. I know it's been a while since I've been here. I'd also like to congratulate the members of our police force who were advanced and ranked this evening. I thank them for their service in the past, and I look forward to them continuing to serve our community. Okay, let's see, what do I have? Okay, there's a couple of things on the agenda tonight. An ordinance is going to be...
You do need to give us your name. And
Oh, I'm so sorry. I know you all know me.
Yes, we
Kathy
do.
Franco, 766 Weemac Road. So you have an item on the agenda introducing an ordinance to increase the compensation for the judge. And
That is based upon the merger last year of the Raritan Court. The increase in that salary is fully being funded by Raritan, was a previous salary from Raritan being transferred to Bridgewater.
And so we've been working with the Raritan, I thought, in the past,
Now,
haven't we?
we've been working with Somerville, and then last year we added Raritan. We had to do a prorate adjustment last year for, I think it was 3 or 4 months. This is to now adjust for the full year salary from Raritan.
So the $32,000 difference between what was put into place on 12/5 via an ordinance and what is being proposed tonight.
Is fully funded by Raritan Borough in a shared services agreement.
So in addition to that 32, how much more is Raritan absorbing?
So the 32 was only the prorated portion for the months. This was a challenging situation that we had. I was very involved in as the council president last year, but that was a prorated portion of the salary for the time period Raritan came to our court last year. This sets the full salary for this year for Raritan, and it's the same with the court administrator, and that is why the only 2 salaries you see on this ordinance that are actually being changed is for the judge and the court administrator. And I apologize, I don't remember what the original numbers were, but it is fully funded by the borough of Raritan.
Okay, so what portion is Bridgewater going to be responsible for?
I don't know off the top
Well,
of my head.
in December, it was $126,193.76.
Well, that's what you're saying the salary was in December?
That's what you as a council approved.
That included a portion of that, as I explained, that was funded by
So
Raritan.
you're unable to answer what
I can't
is
tell you off
our
the top of
burden?
my head what ours is. No. Keep
Okay,
in mind,
all right.
we are a shared.
No, I'm just questioning it because since 2003, when she was originally appointed, or 2002, she started off at $60,000. In 2023, she went up to $110 because she waived health insurance benefits. So she got a $40,000 bump, where any other employee of this township who waives health insurance only gets a $5,000 bump. In 2024, she went up to 115. Then she went up to, that was in August. Then in December, she went up to 126. And then now she's going up to 158.
So if the
other thing-
August was 115, that's what Bridgewater is paying.
Okay.
We took the action in December based on the few months. This action is now setting the salary for the full year. The number is the same. It's
But that's not really clear in the way you've presented it to the public in the ordinance or whatever. The other thing that I seem to recall was during those discussions, Councilman Norgalis was very much about making sure that the ordinance was clear as to who was in these roles, that we named the person. And if indeed this is now a shared role, I think that should be clearly delineated, that this now includes Raritan, that this includes Somerville, that this includes this growing shared services agreement before you move forward with an ordinance, because even Councilman Norgalis, in his wisdom, identified that in December.
Franco, it's clearly stated in the heading that this is part of the shared services agreement with the Borough of Raritan.
But also with the Borough of Somerville, apparently.
Mrs. Franco is getting to is that when we have a number as an annual salary for someone who is supported through a shared services agreement, we should probably, in the ordinance, specify how much is coming from Bridgewater and how much is coming from the other participant towns.
I don't think, excuse me, I don't think that is certainly in the past what has not occurred. What the Township of Bridgewater has done is negotiated a contract or an agreement with the Borough of Somerville for a dollar amount to carry out the court function, and now with the Borough of Raritan. And the dollar amount, there's not any breakdown in the agreement between Bridgewater and Somerville. We look at the expenditures, we create a budget, we ensure that all of the staff salaries are covered. If there needs to be an increase in staff because the increase of another court, that all has been factored into the, if I can finish, that's all been factored into the dollar amount that the administration proposes to the council, that they approve, and that the other governing body has to approve.
And indeed, I'm sure you all shared that information, but you didn't share it with the public. And that's why I'm here tonight, because I only looked at it going from $60,000 5 years ago to $158,000 tonight. So that's where I'm concerned, because, yeah, you have these lovely numbers behind you, but you don't share them. There is no transparency.
I'm not sure I understand the question, Ms. Franco. I'm not sure
You don't
I
understand the fact that I didn't understand that you went from $125,000 to $158,000 in less than 2 months, and there was really no clear explanation that Raritan, in any of the materials that were sent out.
That's not the case. And
To the public, excuse me.
when the council was approving.
No, I'm talking about to the public, not what the council got.
You're not letting me finish. When the council considered the amendment the end of last year, it was after the shared court agreement with the Borough of Raritan was approved effective October 1st. And the additional compensation for the judge and for the court administrator were captured within the agreement, and the additional expense that is being illustrated by the increased cost or increased compensation for the judge and the court administrator was incorporated into the fees that the Borough of Raritan is paying.
Oh, okay, all I'm asking is that you have a whole lot of information, okay? You do, you share it with the council. When it comes out in an agenda, when we look up the ordinances that are attached, the proposed ordinance, proposed resolutions, that clarification is not there. Perhaps if it was to the detail that you're providing tonight, because I asked the question, perhaps I wouldn't have come and asked the question.
But when the council approved the ordinance to go to have a shared court with the Borough of Raritan, that was explained to the council at the public meeting that the additional revenue that we would be receiving to cover the addition of the Borough of Raritan to the shared municipal court will be covered in, or will cover the additional cost of any additional staff or additional compensation for the administrator and the judge.
But what Mr. Councilman Kirsch just said was the increase to 125 covered that inclusion of Raritan.
For that portion of the year, because that was for 3 months.
Okay, so I appreciate...
Our payroll...
No, let me finish. I appreciate your explanation here tonight. What I'm saying is...
You know, you don't
No,
appreciate our
Franco, the
explanation.
information...
Excuse me. I appreciate, and I don't need any further explanation here tonight. You have answered my question. What I'm saying is, the way you publish this for the public leaves many questions unanswered, and that's why I came tonight, to get those questions answered. You have now answered them. I thank you for that. We can end that topic, and I can move on to my next issue. Thank you. You are also introducing a resolution. This will be a one and done for emergency temporary appropriations for current funds of $1,200,000, which brings the 2025 year-to-date temporary appropriations to $18 million. This represents 0.28% of the budget. We are only
Ms.
5 weeks
Franco,
into the year.
This question comes up each and every year, and the question is, hey, if you're only 1 month or 2 months in, how can you have 38%? Our expenses are not exactly linear. It's not the case that we can take 1/12 of everything. We are statutorily required to create a temporary budget, and the state provides a percentage for that, but that anything over and above that, we have to make sure that we can pay our bills. So.
Okay, because a month ago, you approved 27% as an appropriation. And I would have thought that at that time, you would have anticipated what those first quarter expenses would be. That you wouldn't wait until a month later into the fiscal year. We are in a fiscal year, and we don't have a budget. And, so my concern is, what is that final budget going to look like if...
All right, we don't have a budget yet, and we won't for several months.
Well, I hope we do.
I'm not going to try to address when the budget is going to be presented, because that always becomes a hot button item.
Well, let me say this. So I'm going to end with these two things. One is, according to Local Finance Notice 2024-20, it revises this calendar year 2025 budget deadline extensions. And this is for local municipal governments. Municipal budgets who operate under the Mayor-Council-Faulkner Act, date of transmission of budget to governing body extended from January 17th to February 28th. So I would hope that the administration will have presented you with a budget by February 28th. The submission of the municipal annual financial statement deadline is extended to March 7th. The municipal introduction and approval of budget extended from February 10th to March 31st, and the adoption date is extended from March 20th to April 30th. I therefore expect that a budget will have been made available and introduced no later than March 30th in order that it can be approved no later than April 30th. That is according to what the state government has stated. Thank you very much. Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe one or two more things. A lot of people are talking about affordable housing. I know you're working on it. I know you're diligent. I have two questions because I keep hearing different numbers. There's the 470, 417, whatever we end up with there. That, in my understanding, is inclusive of those affordable housing units that we already have in place, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, so it's not 400 more units.
No, it is.
No, it's 400 more.
We have well over 1,100 now. It is 417 new affordable housing units.
In addition to the 160 or whatever that are already on the books.
There's 1,100 on the books.
Yes, in addition to the
In
1,100.
the prior three
that are
rounds, there's
existing.
1,100 on the books, and now the state wanted us to get 470 by building it in the middle of Route 22 in the middle of the reservoir.
Okay,
We've
thank
dropped
you.
that to
No, thank you.
And
417.
I've stated in the past,
Oh.
the state came up with a number, some 80-some-odd thousand houses. And then they came out and they said, all right, now we're going to allocate them around, and the court did exactly that. And we wound up with a number, and that's what we're trying to address. Their number to us was 474.
So the ones that we've promised that haven't been built yet, okay, under previous things, are those like thrown away?
Which ones are you speaking of?
Oh, I don't know, the ones on like Findern Avenue, the
old
Hyatt
COA
House, I don't
arrangement
know if that's
was
opened
thrown
yet.
out. The old COA arrangement was thrown out entirely. This is round 4, and it's an entirely new process. It does not, as far as I know, subject to the attorney sticking me in the ribs, build on what we had before.
Okay, so I don't know if it was like Westwood or West Elmer. There were a couple of different projects that had been on paper but never built.
The 40 units that were to be part of the Center of Excellence are now as part of the
Part
Hyatt
of Hyatt,
House.
right.
And they have been fully approved, and I think most, if not all, have been occupied.
Okay, so will those fall under those?
That is from the last round.
Okay, now the other ones that were never built,
That's part of the last round. We're still obligated
to
for
meet
those.
that in addition. Okay, okay, no, I appreciate that clarification because I did not realize that, and that's a much more significant challenge to us. Because there are so many residents who are concerned and interested, would this council, would this administration invite members of the public to either a, town meeting or develop a task group to, come up with ideas and share things. You have a woman who lives in affordable housing, who experiences it from that side. Would that be something you would consider? You don't have to answer me now, it's just.
I'm not
putting in
going
the-
to.
Okay,
I'm going
and.
to thank you for your comments.
And the $4 million for Camp Cromwell, I'm concerned. Did we get that money? Will we get that money with the freeze in Washington?
We expect that we would get it. We have not received it yet. It is being administered through the Department of Housing and Urban Development. Our staff is regularly in contact with their representative and Congressman Kane's office to ensure that the bureaucratic process that we have to follow is adhered to, and we're confident that we will receive it.
Okay, because I understand like no checks are being written for any grants, so that's just what I hear. Thank you. Thank you very much. Again, Happy New Year, and thank you for your time.
Anyone else wishing to address the council?
Another frequent flyer.
That's why you sit on the aisle, right?
Jen Lochran, Falcon Court, Bridgewater. So last week, I felt the air get sucked out of the room when I used the number like 10 to 1. And I was shocked because I'd had conversations and I followed up and I couldn't figure out why that number was the number I was thinking of. And the reason was because in another business session, that number came up as being a number that is associated with affordable housing. So I guess my question is, is 20% like what all municipalities sort of set as their standard, or is that just a goal that Bridgewater has?
All negotiable.
We have no idea what other towns commit to. Some may have more, I doubt it, and some may have less. We know what basically where we would like to get to in terms of a setback, but that is individually negotiated with any and every builder who comes before the organization to try to build something.
If you look at Hyatt House, we actually got 40% there.
Mm-hmm.
They built 100 apartments. We got 40, it wasn't a 10 to 1. It was a 10 to 4 ratio. So, what you get from one developer can be different than what you get from another developer. Generally, you're going to get at least 10%, but if there's a lot of interest, you say, it's a negotiation, for lack of a better term.
Okay. I don't know I think I'm confusing the numbers. So when I said 10 to 1, I meant that 10 other units would be built for every.
Correct.
Okay, I just wanted.
Yeah, no, but so to that point,
Got it.
use Hyatt House, it was 100 units.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they actually, for every 10 that they have, 4 of them are affordable housing. So that was a 10-to-4 ratio.
Now you can see why it's so confusing for
Yeah, understood.
regular people.
And the rules change every round. Yes.
Okay. Well, I will be quick. I did want to acknowledge the promotions of the officers. That was a really wonderful ceremony. And I wanted to bring up that the police department is doing their community policing program. And one of the officers that I went on 2 ride-alongs. The first one was with now Sergeant John Kennedy, and it was fantastic, except nothing happened. So they sent me on another one where also nothing happened. But he's wonderful.
Chief, can we have a ride with everyone from now on?
So I just wanted to mention that because the program was really great, and I hope to see it continue. And I will do my part in getting the word out. So I hope everybody else does too. And that was it. That's all I had. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the council? Seeing no action, move to close public input, please.
Make that motion.
Second.
Mr.
All those in
President?
favor?
Aye.
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 President, since the chief is here, I'm wondering if he could come up and just highlight the Citizens Police Academy that's planned.
Put him on the spot.
It's a 9-week program where we go through all aspects of policing. We start out talking about the Constitution and where we get our authority as police officers. We cover motor vehicle stops, use of force, pursuit. We certify everybody in CPR and first aid and defib. We put everybody through a use of force scenarios. So they know what it's like when we're going through a door. They get their heartbeat going. And then finally, like Jennifer said, we do ride-alongs where as long as they want to, they don't have to, they can go on a tour of duty with an officer and see what happens.
Could you talk about the dates that are planned for this year and if there's still opportunity for people to apply that are township residents?
Absolutely. They have until the end of February to apply. There's an application on our website. They can send it to Sergeant Jack Kennedy at jkennedy@bridgewaternj.gov. And the first night will be March 6th, which is a Thursday, and it will be consecutive Thursdays until May 1st, going from 6:30 to 8:30. Usually we get a lot of questions, so it does go a little bit longer sometimes. Good. Have a good night.
Thanks, Chief. Okay, moving to item 11, public hearings and final action on ordinances. There is none. Moving to 12, introduction of ordinance 12A, an ordinance amending Chapter 10, Municipal Court, Section 10-4, Judge, Term of Office, and Section 10-6, Functions, Powers, Duties, and Jurisdiction of the Municipal Code of the Township of Bridgewater to remove obsolete statutory references. And we owe a vote of thanks for Mr. Corsini going back and cleaning out decades-old language.
My continuing effort, Council President, to leave the code better than I found it.
Good man.
So,
Now, any questions for Mr. Corsini on 12A? If not, could I have a motion to introduce, please?
Brief comment. I know there was a lot of discussion on 12. I'm sorry, 12. I refrain. I'll take that back. 12A, I will move to introduce. I'll hold my comment.
Second?
Second.
Any other discussion? Okay. A roll call on the motion to introduce, please.
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cardilla?
Yes.
Councilman Ring?
Yes.
Council President Orgalis?
Yes. And could you set the date, please?
Final action is scheduled for February 20th, 2025 at 7:30 here in the municipal courtroom. Public inspection of the ordinance is available on the township website, bulletin board, and through the clerk's office.
Thank you. Okay, moving to 12B, an ordinance setting the compensation of the mayor,
township council members, department heads, and certain other municipal employees pursuant to Chapter 374 of the Public Laws of 1985, NJSA 2A:809, NJSA 2A:8-13, NJSA 40A:9-165, NJSA 40A:9-135, NJSA 40A:9-146, and Chapter 95 of the Public Laws of 1996, and amend the salaries of the municipal court judge and the court clerk/administrator to reflect the township shared service agreement for municipal court services with the Borough of Raritan. Just so everyone is understands the names, this is for Judge Howes and Administrator Jenny Peterson. Now, could I have a motion to introduce?
Sure.
Okay,
comment, too.
and a second? Okay, we're
second.
now open for suggestions and comments.
Just, I know there was a lot of discussion of this during the open public comment, and the ordinance itself, when one takes the time to read, it talks about the shared services. It specifically addresses the ordinance that was done in December on a prorated basis, and further talks about the need to effectuate the adjustments for 2025. I think it spells out very clearly what we're doing here. I think Mr. Corsini is going to add a comment.
Councilman Ring, I don't know how if I could have been any plainer when I wrote the ordinance. I appreciate Ms. Franco's comments, but I don't know if I could have been any plainer. So
I know there was a lot of passion about it, but I think the ordinance does spell out for the public's benefit exactly what we're doing, and I'm happy to introduce it.
And just another comment, I mean, this is an exceptionally simple situation that seems to be made unnecessarily complex. These are the salaries for these two positions. We needed to do an adjustment in 2024 because these were two individuals that were in the role for 3 months. Our payroll person had to know how much to pay them, so that's what we did in late '24. We're now taking this action, so they'll be properly paid in 2025. It's no more complex and no simpler than that.
Councilman Kirsch, if you compare this ordinance to its predecessor and the typical one that we do each year, you will find that the language in this ordinance is significantly more verbose because of the nature of it. I did the best I could. So
right. But what we're trying to solve is exceptionally simple. Our payroll person has to know how much to pay these two individuals, and that's what we're doing.
Thank you. Any other discussion? If not, may I have a roll call on introduction, please?
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cordilla?
Yes.
Councilman Ring?
Yes.
Council President Orgalis?
Yes. And setting the date, please.
Final action is scheduled for February 20th, 2025 at 7:30 p.m. here in the municipal courtroom. Public inspection of the ordinance is available on the township website, bulletin board, and through the clerk's office.
Thank you. Moving to resolutions. 13A, authorizing the continuation of public health services of Middlebrook Regional Health Commission for the year 2025 at a total cost of $117,985 pursuant to the requirements of NJSA 26:3-1 et seg, to be funded from the Health and Human Services account.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Is there any discussion on this? Okay, roll call, please. On
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cordilla?
Yes.
Councilman Ring?
Yes.
Council President Orgalis?
Yes. 13B, authorization to execute an agreement with the Board of Commissioners of Somerset County for 2025, recycling in an amount not to exceed $467,958 based on a fee of $27.60, which was up from $27 from prior year, for services for up to 16,955 households to be funded from the 2023 recycling grant, the 2024 recycling grant, and the current recycling grant. Could I have a motion on 13B, please?
I'm happy to move it. Are we comfortable with the 16,955?
Yes, Mr. Dorado has been involved in that. Just for the council's benefit, the total cost, additional cost to our budget for 2025 amounts to $10,173.
I'll move it.
Second? I'll second it. Any additional discussion?
Yeah, the only discussion I'll just briefly state is I've repeatedly expressed concern about the quality of the recycling program. I continue to have those concerns. Unfortunately, I don't have a better alternative. We are legally required to do this, so yet another instance where we are essentially mandated to take this action.
Okay, any other comments? Could I have a roll call? 13B, please.
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cordilla?
Yes.
Councilman Ring?
Yes.
Council President Norgalis?
Yes. 13C, a resolution providing for emergency temporary appropriations for current fund $1,200,464.00, which brings the 2025 year to date temporary appropriations to $18,845,735.98. Mr. Pappas, did you have any more comments to offer?
Just that the vast majority of this is for our insurance coverage.
Yes. Okay. Motion on 13C?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second.
If there are no additional comments, could I have a roll call, please?
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cordilla?
Yes.
Councilman Ring?
Yes.
Council President Norgalis?
Yes. 13D establishes the employee standard mileage reimbursement rate for approved township business as set by the Internal Revenue Service. Now, anyone who has seen an earlier version of this might have noted that there was it stated 25 in 2025. Specifically, what we're doing is saying that we pay based on the IRS rate, and there would be no need to continue for council action each and every year to simply state that's what we do, we follow the IRS rate.
I know we're required to do this. Do we actually have many people we pay mileage to?
It's very limited. It's very limited. They usually would have to use a township vehicle.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the rate is 70 cents. I just did an expense report for my trip last week.
Yep. But the
Okay,
rate changes every year.
Could I have a motion on
can, yes.
13D, please? Second, please.
Second it.
If there are no additional comments, roll call 13D.
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cordilla?
Yes.
Councilman Ring?
Yes.
Council President Norgalis?
Yes. 13E, authorizing an additional $75,000 to RJM Landscape and Design, LLC, of 821 Parsonage Hill Drive, Branchburg, NJ 08876, for snow removal services in an amount not to exceed $150,000 for the 2024-2025 winter season, to be funded from the 2025, the temporary municipal budget snow removal account 5-01-26-293-203. Everybody who looks out the door, I'm sure will want to support this. Could I have a motion, please?
Happy to support it, and I'll make that motion. I guess my question is,
Okay, hold that until I get a second.
I'll second so
Okay,
that we can
now
have
go
a
ahead.
discussion.
do we have, I guess where I'm going with this is there's talk of, depending upon which forecast you listen to Saturday night, we're looking at 3 to
Well-
8 to, I guess my question is, do we have extra money in here still, or is this just bringing us back to?
I think this is bringing us close to where we are, and, if needed, we'll come back, but we're trying not to ask for more unless it's needed.
Understood.
But as needed, we're going to plow the public should
plow the roads, and then
understand,
we're gonna have to address
it's not the council, but we do plow the streets and salt where necessary. But there is a benchmark, depending on the height of the snow, depth of the snow, I should say, which will probably be recognized very shortly.
And the one other thing, with the certain parts of town on the mountains elevations, there's a application of salt there before there are in some of the lower elevations. So it depends. Mr. Schimpf looks at this very carefully. They follow the weather. They have the police are assisting us in determining where it's safe or not safe to drive. So it's a very coordinated effort.
I assume steep slopes get priority and repeated applications when necessary.
Like Mine Road was actually brined yesterday in advance of the storm.
Okay.
And Mr. President, if I can offer a compliment to the DPW, because what occurred overnight or into the early hours this morning was particularly challenging because there wasn't much snow. There was ice and rain, and then there was no sunshine. Probably a perfect storm for challenging conditions. And I think under the circumstance, the roads remained as safe as could be reasonably expected, and that's certainly what we value here in Bridgewater Township.
Okay, if there are no other comments, 13E, roll call, please.
Councilman Kirsch?
Yes.
Councilman Cordilla?
Yes.
Councilman Ring,
Yes.
Council President Orgalis.
Yes. F, authorization approving final list of volunteer members of the Bridgewater First Aid and Rescue Squads who qualify for contributions. Now, the contribution right now is $1,507.63. It originally started years ago at $11.50. But anyway, for the year 2024, under the Township LoSAP, which stands for Length of Service Award Program in the Township of Bridgewater, County of Somerset, to be funded from the 2024 LoSAP account.
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Okay, any comment besides thanks to all our many, many volunteers who spend countless hours training and working on calls?
I just thought Bob was going to stay for that item on the agenda.
He probably went out on a call.
Oh.
All right. Roll call.
Councilman Kirsch,
Yes.
Councilman Cordilla,
Yes.
Councilman Ring,
Yes.
Council President Orgalis.
Yes. We're now moving to a closed session. We've completed the regular agenda. Let me read 14, which is be it resolved that by the Township Council that this body will now hold a closed meeting for contract negotiations on affordable housing. When and if matters discussed become public record, this will be made known to the public at that time. The public is excluded from said meeting, and further notice thereof is dispensed with all in accordance with Sections 8 and 4A of the Open Public Meeting Act. I do not anticipate any action of this body after the closed session, so we will simply adjourn at that point. Could I have a motion
So
to go
moved.
to close? Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we are closed as soon as the public leaves.
Have a good
You can go back online, please. Ready, Scott? Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have closed the closed session. We've reached the point where we have no additional business. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second, all those in favor of adjournment, signify by saying aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.
You pay for your app?
Survived another one.
I did.
Well, I think we might have.
During the first year.
Well, that's like, so it's
The
weird.
officers, especially Jamie,
It is.
because I work with him for the
That
OEM.
used to be done in the afternoon, but doing it at council meetings.
It's really
I'm
nice.
glad